Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. How's everyone doing? Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in the stale September PPI and retail sales information. It was very interesting. Let me say good morning to everyone. John Schmidt is Zello the Magician. Now you got to explain why you're Zello the Magician, John. You got to explain Zello the Magician. But that's who. Thank you for putting that in there. It helps. It helps. Um, ADP US private payrolls fell since we were cut off. People started even depending on ADP numbers more. September producer prices in rise 3%, estimated 3%, 0.3%, I should say, not 3%. Again, stale data. Good morning, Patrick. Uh, Alibaba, as I saw that. See, it says AI bubble unlikely with the net. What if we're already in the AI bubble? Oh boy. Good morning, Mark. Uh, there's my test message because nothing was popping up. Good morning, OD Green. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning. I still like this. Good morning, Holy Holy. Good. I like that. I like that. Hello, Charles. Good morning, Heinrich. Hello, Mark. Again, I hope everyone's doing super fine, fantastic on the shortened trading week. Good morning, Patrick and Rusty over on Rumble. And some people in the background on Rumble. You can always type in the chat over there. I can't put it on the screen. Hopefully, that'll get solved at some point. Because I'd like to put that on the screen too. So, again, we got the numbers out of the way. Nothing incredibly shocking with the old stale September numbers. We also had some earnings. I don't know if Sterling's still around to put in some earnings, but we did have some earnings also. We'll get to those in a second. The S&P 500, we have chip news. We have Broadcom, which rallied very big yesterday and following through this morning. You have Google and Meta. Based off of AI and chip news, NVIDIA getting some bad news that they're not the only game in town. Oracle continues to drop. Other Mag 7s down for today. Sort of a slight rotation into consumer defensive and the financials. You see here group services. There's your comm services led by Google and Meta. Financial, basic materials, consumer defensive. Technology is lagging today, followed by energy. Fed watch, we're back to 82% for the cut in December. Fear and greed, still in extreme fear even with this bounce. Stock price spread still deteriorating. So that's where we sit there. And the Schiller PE, 39.53. We had Alibaba, Abercrombie Fitch, which was up on a beat. Kohl's was also up on a beat. Best Buy was sort of flat this morning. Burlington is down. Let's see who. Happy Turducken Week. Yes, David Atkins. Sterling's got the Turducken. He's representing the Turducken this year. So hit the Ike, folks. Hit the like. I like the hit the Ike. Who else we got in here? Hey, good morning. Yo Shetty. Good morning. Who else we have? I wish they would put the names up again. My deceased wife's name for me when I get in a creative state, my office shakes and smokes when in process. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for your deceased wife, but that now we know Zello the Magician. So that's a good story though. You know? Your nickname. There we go. Baba was a misbeat. Stock up 3%. Yes, it is a happy turducken for Sterling. Remember, how did we not remember to watch SNDK? I don't know. NIO was a beat miss. I guess we stopped using flash memory. Oh, memory price is also through the roof. All right, let's get to the markets though. Keep Sterling. I guess I'll keep putting in the earnings. So what do we have? We followed through percent B buy. Again, it had to be. There's no way I just wait for the close on in these markets to do it, but it was triggered on the break of the high. It danced around that level for a bit, and then went through the next two targets, 6,700 up to the 6,725 target and the top of the rotation zone, and now pausing. We do have a little mini potential double top that I'm keeping an eye on. It might be a choppier day today. SanDisk. There we go. Abercrombie Fitch was a beat stock up 17.45% to be exact. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on this morning. We have little mini potential double tops in the NASDAQ and the S&P. Yeah, and I'm not, unless we got momentum out of somewhere, there's would not be looking to short these. Would be looking, especially against the rotation zone. I'll be watching that first target. So on the S&P one, the first target is around 66.87 roughly. It would need to close below 67.0175 to trigger. Little minor pullback, not even to the major support level broken, resistance level turned into support yesterday. So I'm keeping an eye on there. Other than that, if we keep marching higher, I'm still looking at 67.38, which is the 50% retracement, and then a very key area between about 67.83 to about 67.92, which is the very key resistance area and the 62.5% retracement. Best Buy beat stock up 1.76%. Kohl's, there you go. Beat stock up 26.38. Oh boy. Oh boy. So we also have the little mini double in the NASDAQ. So they're lopsided against the rotation zone. And again, I'll be looking for pullbacks. It would need a close below 24,822. First key target, which is when I'd be watching, is 24,736 area. And that's based off the aggressive, and if we went to the conservative, 27,745. So somewhere in that area is the first area I'd be watching against the rotation zone. Major support coming in at 24,540. Don't do stupid this week. It's going to already start lightening up with trading. So don't do silly. Again, the percent B buy at Friday's high followed through with the close. Would not have waited for the close. If you were waiting for the close, your reward to risk would be way off based off the potential first targets. What else do we have? Analog devices beat stock up 110%. What was a 900% increase from April low? Was that for Kohl's? Burlington, there we go. Miss stock down 6.49%. Now I'm focused on Sterling's turducken. Man, I could go for some turducken this year, but I don't have a turducken. Keeping it very simple this year because my wife's only in town for a short little bit and then is back to Chicago. So keeping it simple. Back to Chicago until Christmas. The Dow, not much to talk about here. Not really much to talk about. We don't have a double in the Dow. Dow key area I'm looking at is still on any rally 46,850 area. Against the rotation zone flattening out though. Key support is closer to right around 46,325. Dick's Sporting Goods was a misbeat, stock down 3.54. Sorry, we'll You're really focused on a SanDisk. You're really focused on SanDisk. Dow, I'm still focused mostly on the S&P and NASDAQ this week. Russell Continue to fall through, actually closing above the rotation zone, which is in neutral mode technically. There is no potential double top. Back to the 50% harmonic, though, you see, from the sell off. I'm going to be keeping an eye if we do start breaking back below 2407. That's very key support level right now. If we take out the 2433, the next key level is the 2466.8 to 62.5. The VIX dropping back to that 20 area, back to the 20. Man, I'd like to see this VIX drop back down a little bit more for potential hedges in December. I'm just not convinced about the year-end rally with the market, with the breadth breaking down as much of it could, but we could still get a more continued bounce. So I'm really focused on these percent B patterns. The DAX, uh, back into the rotation zone. We got the overhead 200. We have a gap still left to fill, so I'm watching more so if the DAX does rally for the gap fill of 23,632. Yields dropping off the Fed now meeting in December, projecting the cut again, but coming back into again, breaking out of the higher consolidation into the lower consolidation area. What else? Crude yesterday coming up first, second, nearly the third target hit on the double, and then the sharp reversal off of the news that Ukraine could be accepting the peace process or the latest peace proposal, but I think Russia just rejected it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. This is crude is not good trading right now unless you're really scalpy. Although we're coming into a very key support level, we're holding the channel, but if that breaks, 57 gets interesting. Natty gas still. This has it didn't get down far enough. It's still technically barely a double top. Gold has confirmed the little mini double and triggered it on the 4-hour. Now we have a little mini double top potential. I am still watching for this to continue higher, but keeping an eye on this little mini double top should it reverse and trigger the other way, because that would follow back into consolidation. Would it invalidate the bigger double is already triggered? No, it would not. So could gold still keep the confirmed double and pull back? Yes, it could. That's why I'm keeping an eye on that. Silver, little mini double top here in silver also. Dollar index. By the way, this was no longer a double. Why? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just it's no longer a double. So you can't use the targets. So there we go. If it does pull back, remember, we've triggered the massive weekly thing, but this would just be a pullback into the rising rotation zone. So if it continued to pull back, I'd watch closer to about 99.20 to 99.50 for some 99.40, 99.20 99.40 for some support. The euro also had a little mini double bottom, but extended too far to the right before confirming. So that is not an official double anymore. Coming up to a very key resistance and backing off. The yields in Japan starting to rotate back up again. And the yen coming back to the key top of the channel line with the rotation zone. I'm going to be watching for to see if we get a buy setup, especially if this could trigger a percent beat buy for tomorrow. Possibly. We don't know yet. The good old Bitcoin back to the 8 EMA. You had the little percent beat buy, first target being the 8 EMA area, and rotating back down. I'm still watching to see if we form a stronger buying pattern down here, we remember this would be for a bounce only. Look at the weekly, very overextended from the rotation zone. So that's why I'm watching for a potential bounce play in Bitcoin. The little mini play so far was that percent beat buy. It's still technically valid, but I'm watching if this does pull back for a stronger bottoming pattern, or if we get it today with a pullback and then we take out. It's a 1-day pausing bar. If we took out yesterday's high, that would also be another follow through short term buy. Ethereum, also not as overextended to the downside and bouncing off the 62.5 on the weekly basis, but and on a daily basis, not closing below there. I forgot to update this. Oh, sorry about that. So, did not shift the probabilities just yet, but we'll be watching for a bounce in that too for any of the crypto traders, spiders. I'm more focused on the futures right now. Spiders has some very key support right around 665. We're going to gap down slightly today. So the first play of the upside would be for the gap fill 668.73. The 50% harmonic 670.28. We got up to 670.06. So not quite to that 50% harmonic yet, but that'd be the next target today. And then remember, if we continue to follow through the upside, 675.13 is key on a closing basis. The Qs, slight gap down, 603.61. Gap fill is 605.16. The 50% harmonic, 608.88. Very, very key support at 599.65 area. What else? Oracle continues to, again, we've closed below 62.5. On bounce plays, I'll be watching for rollover plays in Oracle. There is your Broadcom to infinity and beyond. The next key target is 410.90. 410.90 still holding the weekly rotation zone. NVIDIA just stuck in the, I mean, it's gone nowhere now. This is interesting. Since the end of July, NVIDIA's gone nowhere. Absolute nowhere. I mean, it's gone up and pulled back a bit, but net, it's gone nowhere. SanDisk, there you go. SanDisk. You know, this is going to be this secondary reaction because now back to the weekly. This one's going to be key. This one's going to be key for holy, holy. Holy, holy. This is going to be very interesting to see if this fails on this 50% to 62.5. We get another rollover play or not. Going to be very interesting in that, in this run up. Hey, Dark Screen, how you doing? What else is going on here? So, what else? Google, or sorry, I'm always going to call it Google, but the good old alphabet. Next key target, we went through the two minor targets yesterday. We talked about next key target 329.35, going to gap just below that. So, Google, if you're not already in it, it's going vertical. Okay, so if you're already in it, that's the next target I'd use to at least raise a stop. You can see the prior, we gapped up and held that prior harmonic as support. Next key one is 329.35. All right, so that's where we sit right there. Not else to you said a 15-minute double bottom in gold. I don't go down that far in gold. That's two bottoms, not an official double bottom the way we do it. The way we do it, it's not official because the second and third targets are beyond the candle bodies. So, if you're tuning in late though, dark screen, it's not valid. It's already triggered the bigger double bottom pattern, and it does have a minor potential double top, but the trend, again, we already went through this. If it triggers this little minor double top and hits all the targets, it still wouldn't invalidate the bigger double bottom that's already been triggered. I'm keeping an eye on this 4-hour rotation zone and would not be shorting gold, by the way, since it triggered the bigger pattern and it's against the 4-hour rotation zone. Would just be looking for that if for pullbacks potentially, especially that first target, which is that very key support, if it does manage to pull back. Other than that, this one is valid. Why? Because the first and second targets are within the candle bodies that started the move down. And actually, the final target is right at the peak high. So if you're looking for that, is 41.92, 42.21, roughly, and 42.50 are the targets for that double. That is it. That is it. That is it. Not much to talk about. Just don't do silly with the volume starting to dry up. Have the little mini double tops. Could just turn into a choppier day against the 4-hour rotation zone. So we'll be watching tomorrow, because with this little mini double top area, if this double doesn't trigger, then we break through there. Really going to be focused then to see if it can get to that 62.5 and follow through, continue to follow through on that percent beat buy. With that, I don't have much more to say. I hope everybody doesn't have to work this week. Maybe you get some extra time off, or you get some extra relaxation time. And I will see everyone back tomorrow morning. And again, thank you for tuning in, people over on Rumble. Bye for now.